Hi friends, it's Gwen. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm here to share my April TBR, and I actually don't know what I'm going to be reading this month because I'm bringing it back finally. I'm bringing back the TBR jar. Now, I will say I'm a little nervous. I don't typically read a lot in April because I take my annual girls trip. So I usually read between like 7 and 10 books, which is about half of what I normally read in a month. So I have no idea. One year I read 4, one year I read 7, one year I read 11. So I would say anywhere between like 7 and 10. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna let the TBR jar decide what we're gonna read this month. There are lots of new releases coming out that I'm so excited about. And then I also have some books that I like really either have to read or want to read. And I'm also hosting a book box subscription clear out over in my Patreon. I usually do it with them every single April. And then I also do another one just by myself in like November, because I collect a lot of book box subscriptions and they're kind of piling up. I have a lot of books from book box subscriptions. Obviously, I'm not gonna get through all of these, but I wanna lay them down and see if they fit any of the prompts we pull. All right, so I have them laid down there. Maybe I should show you. All right, so I have them laid down here. And now we're gonna use our TBR jar to pick some prompts. I'm trying to think how many I want to pick because I said like 7 to 10 books and I have 4 over here that I'd really like to read. So should I choose 6? I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to choose 6 from the jar, but I may not read all of them, but at least I'm attempting, you know? All right, first one. Oh no, oh, this one actually works out. I was a little scared at first. It says from series tracker. So recently I made a series tracker because even though I don't read fantasy, I do read a lot of series still somehow. So I'm like, I think I need a series tracker to make sure I can check off some of my series this year. And one of the books that I need to read this month is Anne of Wendy Poplars by L.M. Montgomery. This is the 4th book in the Anne of Green Gables series. I'm reading this with my Patreon. I'm staying on pace to read 1 book a month, but it's a read at your own pace type thing. We're just hoping to have our final hurrah in October, so you have any time to read it until October. But yeah, so this one works for that prompt because it is one of the series that I'm in the middle of. It's on my series tracker. This one says, Anne Shirley has left Redmond College and Green Gables behind to begin a new job as the principal of the high school in the dreaming town of Summerside. She takes the cozy tower room in a large house named Wendy Poplars, living there with 2 elderly widows, Aunt Kate and Aunt Chatty, as well as their housekeeper, the irrepressible Rebecca Drew. Anne is soon faced with an unexpected challenge, however, in the form of the Pringles, also known as the royal family of Summerside, who let her know that she's not the person they wanted as principal of the school. But Anne is not one to be kept down, and she quickly finds her way into the hearts and lives of some of the town's other residents, including her disagreeable colleague, Catherine Brooke, and Elizabeth Grayson, her lonely neighbor. And as she does so, she begins to unravel Summerside's strangest secrets. That sounds like it's gonna be really good. I'm excited. Okay. Yes, so this is going to be the first book on my April TBR. All right, next up. A book club pick. Okay, so this is totally working out. I don't know. Okay, a book club pick. This is totally working out in my favor because for my Patreon book club, the Night Owl Book Club, in April, we are reading Firefly Lane by Kristen Hanna. But I also have a quarterly classics book club called the Classical Quarterly. And so for April, May, and June, we're going to be reading The Enchanted April. So either one of these books will fit for that prompt. I'll come back and let you know which one I ultimately decide to use for the prompt, but we're going to go through the rest of the picks first. So far, the TBR jar is doing great things. All right, next up. Okay. A book with a scenic background. A book with a scenic background. I mean, this is a scenic background, but I'm going to try to pick one of these. A scenic background. I think the only one, there's two. Scenic background that I think there's two of them. Okay, let me show you my options. Okay, so You Are Fatally Invited has this like coastal, watery, like, and then there's a house, so that has a scenic background. But also Promise Me Sunshine does. This is like the New York City skyline, but it's just done in this like beautiful like watercolory kind of style. So one of these, I think it's gonna have to be Promise Me Sunshine by Kara Bastone, because I'm just so stinking excited to read this. So this is going on the TBR for sure. Okay, that was the third one. Next up. Okay. Short story or novella. Well, does The Enchanted April count? I mean, it is short, but there's a lot of words on the page, and I don't know if it necessarily counts. So I'm gonna look it up on Goodreads and see what it says. No, it just says classic fiction, Italy, historical fiction, romance. Yeah, so that does not count. So a short story or novella. Okay, I think I know what I'm gonna pick. I'm gonna pick The Fall Risk by Abby Jimenez because I've been wanting to read it. Yay! Okay, this is what I'm gonna read for that prompt. Okay, fun. Okay, let's pick another one. This is so exciting. A cozy mystery. Okay. Unfortunately, none of those are cozy mysteries, but I do have a stack of cozies. So I do have some cozies here. I think these are the ones that I have by Booker by Crook, Live and Let Chai, Cheddar Off Dead, The Girl with the Dragon Fruit Tattoo, and then Buried in a Good Book and On Spine of Death. I have both of those. So obviously I would have to read Buried in a Good Book first. I'm actually gonna send these cozies to Jules and let her choose which one I read. So I'm gonna do that and then I'll let you know. Okay, I sent her a message. She hasn't messaged me back, but when she does, I will share the results with you. Let's choose another one. All right, next up. Food or picnic on the cover. Food or picnic on the cover. I don't know if you can see that. Okay, let's see. Food or picnic. Is that to go to containers? Oh, I know what it's gonna be. It has to be Unromance by Erin Connor. The French fries, they're in an actual diner. This one has to happen. Okay, another one. I've just lost track at this count. I'm just piling books. Okay, next one. use series tracker. Okay. Use my series tracker. Are any of these part of a series? No. So excited! I found the book. This is on my series tracker. This is book 2 of the Out series by Hannah Bonham Young. This follows the friends from the first book, Sarah and Caleb, and it's like an outdoor hiking adventure. So that's perfect for springtime. So this is definitely going on my April TBR. Okay, how many books do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, we have 6 books. We've already drawn 6. Water on the cover. Sorry, I'm not showing you these. Water on the cover, but like, why would I lie? You know, water on the cover. Ooh, You Are Fatally Invited by Andy Peglio. Plagio? This one on the TBR. All right, we'll do one more. Okay, last one, author's backlist. Author's backlist. Okay, not gonna be able to choose a book box. What do I do? I have 2 backlist Rebecca Surley books, The Dinner List and When You Were Mine. And I think I'm gonna go with When You Were Mine. So, all right, that's the last TBR jar pick. Now let's go through all of the books that ended up on my April TBR. All right, I have my April TBR. We have 10 books plus a short story. Let me go ahead and go over all of the books. First one, from my series tracker, Anne of Winnie Poplars by Ellen Montgomery. Next up was a book club pick, Firefly Lane by Kristen Hanna for my book club, the Night Owl Book Club. Next up was, let's see what the prompt was, a book with a scenic background, Promise Me Sunshine by Cara Bastone. Next up was a short story or a novella, so I went with a short story, and I'm going to be reading The Fall Risk by Abby Jimenez. Then we got a cozy mystery, and Jules picked Live and Let Shy by Bryn Baker, hands down, she said. So we have that one. Then we had one with food or a picnic on the cover, so I went with Unromanced by Erin Connor. Then I had another one from my series tracker, so I'm going to read Out of the Woods by Hannah Bonham Young. Then we had water on the cover, so I went with You Are Fatally Invited by Andy Peglio. Then an author's backlist, so I went with Rebecca Surley's When You Were Mine. And then after all of those prompts, I still have 2 more books that I need to read in April. So I went with, obviously, The Enchanted April, which I have 3 months to read, but since it has April in the title, I'd like to read it in April. We'll see if I can make that happen. And then last but not least, for the Sleep When I'm Dead book club, we're going to be reading The Last Room on the Left by Leah Conan. And yeah, I'm really excited about this one. So those are the books that I will be attempting to read throughout the month of April. Like I said, it's one of my busiest months of the year, and I get the least amount of reading done because I'm leaving the state for an entire week to spend with my besties. So check back and see what I end up reading on Goodreads or the Story Graph, or join me on Patreon where I do monthly reading wrap-ups. Yeah, so that's all for today's video. Thank you so much for joining me. If you made it this far in the video, leave the yellow heart emoji in the comment section down below. I hope you guys are having a lovely day or night, and I'll see you guys again in another video very soon. Bye, friends.